Listen carefully, because the truth I'm about to share has the power to alter the trajectory of your entire life. Every man, every woman who ever rose from obscurity to greatness carried one trait above all others. It wasn't luck. It wasn't talent. It wasn't even intelligence. It was the refusal to quit. Thomas Edison failed over 10,000 times to give the world light. Andrew Carnegie came from a family so poor he worked in a factory for pennies before he built empires. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper because they said he lacked imagination, yet his vision reshaped culture forever. Abraham Lincoln lost election after election, faced bankruptcy, endured crushing defeats, and yet he carried the unshakable persistence that would one day preserve a nation. These names are not myths. They were flesh and blood. They carried doubt, fear, and exhaustion like any human being. But here's what separated them. They anchored their minds to an idea and refused to let go until reality surrendered. They became what they refused to quit, and so will you, because your life is not written in stone, bro. It is written in fire. Every step you take burns a mark into the future, and the flame that carries you forward will either be the fire of discipline or the fire of regret. The choice is yours. When Napoleon Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich, he revealed a secret so simple that most overlook it. Riches, success, power, everything begins in the mind. But not in a fleeting wish, not in a casual thought. Only in a burning desire, a desire so strong it survives rejection, ridicule, and the grinding weight of failure that you've been taught to quit when it hurts. To retreat when resistance comes. To walk away when the road feels uphill. But let me tell you a truth. Life will test you until you prove yourself worthy of what you ask for. And the test is persistence. The universe does not hand over its treasures to the faint-hearted. It demands a price. That price is your will. Picture a miner digging for gold. He digs day after day, striking rock after rock, blistered hands, bruised spirit. Then, exhausted, he quits. What he didn't know was that just beyond the next swing of his pickaxe, the gold vein waited. Another man, with no greater talent, but with the refusal to quit, picks up where he left off, and he becomes the one history remembers. That's the law. The law of persistence. The law of riches. The law of destiny. You're standing right now at the edge of the same choice. You can surrender to fatigue, to fear, to comfort, to mediocrity, or you can grit your teeth and step forward, even when the world laughs, even when results seem invisible, even when your heart wants to collapse. Because hear me, the darkest nights forge the brightest dawns. The storm breaks before the harvest. And pain is not the signal to quit, it is the signal that you are moving closer to transformation. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is the bridge from who you are to who you dream of becoming. Without it, desire is just a fantasy. With it, desire becomes reality. You want success? Then stop negotiating with your own weakness. Stop making peace with your excuses. Stop treating your goals like they're optional. Think of Henry Ford. The world called him insane for imagining horseless carriages for the common man. Investors laughed. Experts mocked. Yet Ford stood taller than the noise because his vision was stronger than their doubt. And when his factories roared to life, when his automobiles rolled across America, the same world that mocked him now praised him as a genius. He became what he refused to quit, and so must you, whatever it is you desire. Wealth, freedom, mastery, legacy. Burn it into your mind like a brand. Feed it every single day with focus, with discipline, with unrelenting action. Starve your doubts. Drown your fears. And when setbacks come, and they will, smile at them because each one is proof you are in the arena, proof that you are on the battlefield of destiny, proof that you are moving closer to your prize. Your life will not be measured by how many times you started over. It will be measured by whether you finished, by whether you had the guts to keep swinging, the courage to keep climbing, the faith to keep believing. You become what you refuse to quit, and the world will bend to the one who refuses to bend. Look around you. The difference between those who rise and those who remain unseen is not opportunity. It is not environment. It is not luck. It is a decision made daily, hourly, moment by moment to persist. Success is not hidden. It is not locked in some secret vault. It has always been in plain sight. But the majority will never taste it because they do not possess the strength to stay the course when the winds shift, when the nights grow cold, when progress feels invisible. This is why Napoleon Hill said, "A quitter never wins, and a winner never quits." Simple words. Yet in them lies the dividing line between mediocrity and greatness. Most people never fail because they lack potential. They fail because they stop too soon. They let fear convince them that temporary defeat was permanent failure. They confuse delay with denial. They forget that every seed must spend time buried in darkness before it breaks the soil and reaches the light. You, bro, must never forget this truth. Defeat is not the end. Defeat is the test. Defeat is the teacher that asks you one question. How badly do you want this? History is filled with giants who stumbled, who lost everything, who were laughed out of rooms, rejected by peers, abandoned by allies. But their names are remembered not for their defeats, but for their relentless return. Consider Colonel Sanders. At 65 years old, broke, rejected by over 1,000 restaurants, he could have said it's too late. He could have quit. Instead, he pressed on, carrying a simple chicken recipe, and transformed it into a global empire. He became what he refused to quit. Or think of Soichiro Honda. Rejected by Toyota for employment, bankrupt after bombings destroyed his factory, dismissed by experts. But he refused to lay down. With persistence, he built Honda Motors, one of the most trusted names on earth. These men carried the same scars, the same disappointments you face. But they learned what you must learn. Persistence bends reality. There will be days when your mind whispers, quit. It's useless. It's impossible. That whisper is the voice of your old self, the self chained by fear, by comfort, by conformity. Do not listen. Confront it. Tell it to sit down and stay silent. Because your destiny does not belong to the voice of weakness. Your destiny belongs to the voice of power, the voice that says one more step, one more swing, one more day. Discipline is the weapon, and vision is the target. Without vision, persistence collapses. You cannot endure the storms if you do not know what shore you are sailing toward. This is why you must create a vision so vivid it pulls you forward even when everything in you wants to stop. Edison did not just dream of a light bulb. He saw it. He envisioned homes, streets, cities illuminated. That vision carried him through every failed experiment. Disney didn't just sketch characters. He saw worlds. He envisioned castles, kingdoms, families united in wonder. That vision made every bankruptcy, every rejection irrelevant. Lincoln didn't just dream of being president. He saw a united nation. That vision gave him the strength to endure humiliation after humiliation until destiny opened the door. You too must see it. See your dream in detail. Picture the wealth, not as fantasy, but as fact. See yourself walking in the life you desire. Every color, every sound, every feeling burned into your mind until it becomes as real as the ground beneath your feet, because the mind is the workshop of creation. Your vision is the blueprint. Your persistence is the hammer and nails. And if you refuse to quit, the structure will rise, stone by stone, brick by brick, until it stands undeniable. But beware of doubt. Doubt is the thief of dreams. Doubt will tell you to lower your aim, to play it safe, to avoid embarrassment. Doubt will tell you that you are not ready, not worthy, not capable. Doubt speaks loudly, but persistence shouts louder. Persistence says, I don't need know-how. I only need to keep moving. Persistence says, I don't care how long it takes. I will not stop until it is mine. Persistence says, you can reject me, mock me, doubt me, but you cannot outlast me. And in the end, bro, life always bows to the one who outlasts .so today. Write this into your soul. You will not quit. Not when it's difficult. Not when it's lonely. Not when the world seems blind to your effort. Because you are not like the rest. You are not average. You are not here to fade into obscurity. You are here to rise, to conquer, to create, to build. The moment you refuse to quit, destiny takes notice. The universe rearranges itself around a mind that will not surrender. And little by little, step by step, the world begins to open doors that seem forever closed. You become what you refuse to quit. Every man or woman who changes the world does so by mastering themselves first. Because let's be clear, your greatest battle is not against the competition, not against the economy, not against circumstance. Your greatest battle is against the voice inside that tells you to stop. That voice whispers every morning, sleep longer. Take it easy. You deserve comfort. And every time you obey it, you surrender a piece of your destiny. Discipline is the art of silencing that voice. It is the act of telling yourself, I don't negotiate with weakness. I don't bow to comfort. I don't wait for motivation. I move whether I feel like it or not. Napoleon Hill wrote that the starting point of all achievement is desire. But desire without discipline is like a fire without fuel. It burns bright for a moment and then dies in the wind. Discipline is the fuel. It turns desire into a lifelong blaze that cannot be extinguished. You want wealth? Discipline will demand that you master your money instead of letting your money master you. You want health? Discipline will demand that you conquer your appetite, your laziness, your excuses. You want mastery? Discipline will demand that you show up day after day, practice after practice, until your craft becomes second nature. No man builds an empire by chance. No woman leaves a legacy by accident. They did it because they harnessed the power of daily discipline. Think of Andrew Carnegie. Born into poverty, working 12-hour shifts in a factory, he didn't wait for opportunity to arrive. He disciplined himself to read every night after work, to learn, to grow, to expand his mind. That discipline transformed him from a factory boy into one of the richest men in history. Think of Benjamin Franklin. He didn't stumble into greatness. He wrote out his own system of virtues and disciplined himself to practice them daily. That discipline carved him into a man of influence, wisdom, and legacy. And think of modern masters, athletes, innovators, entrepreneurs, who stand above the rest. It wasn't talent alone that set them apart. It was the relentless discipline to show up when others slept, to grind when others partied, to stay focused when others drifted. Bro, discipline is freedom disguised as sacrifice. While the world believes freedom comes from indulgence, the truth is indulgence creates chains. Discipline shatters those chains and gives you control over your destiny, but discipline alone is not enough. It must be married to clarity. A man without clarity is like a ship without a compass. He may have the sails, the crew, the strength, but without direction he drifts. He wastes his strength in circles. He confuses movement with progress. You must know where you are going. You must see it so vividly that nothing can blur it. If your goal is wealth, define the number. Define the lifestyle. Define what it means, not vaguely, but precisely. If your goal is mastery, define the skill, define the standard, define the benchmark you will not stop until you reach. If your goal is impact, define the legacy you want to leave, the people you want to reach, the message you want the world to remember. Clarity sharpens your mind like a blade. Without it, persistence is wasted energy. With it, persistence becomes unstoppable force. This is why so many wander aimlessly through life. They say they want success, but they never define it. They say they want freedom, but they never describe it. They say they want wealth, but they never measure it. And so they chase shadows, never catching substance. But you, when you define your purpose with clarity, your actions gain precision. Your persistence has a target. Your discipline has a reason. Your entire being aligns like a laser, and that laser cuts through every obstacle. Napoleon Hill called it definiteness of purpose. He said that without it, there can be no real success. And he was right. Purpose is the engine. Discipline is the fuel. Persistence is the driver. And clarity is the map. Together, they transform the impossible into the inevitable. But here is the warning. Once you define your vision, once you commit with discipline and persistence, life will test you harder than ever before. Doors will close. People will doubt you. Circumstances will collapse. Why? Because greatness demands proof that it is easy to speak of dreams when nothing is at stake. It is easy to say you want wealth, power, success when you have not yet paid the price. But the moment you commit, the universe will rise up to ask, do you truly mean it? This is where resilience is forged. This is where the weak fall away. This is where the average quit. And this is where the relentless are born. Bro, resilience is not a gift. It is not something you're born with. It is a muscle. A muscle forged in the fire of setbacks, sharpened by rejection, strengthened by every time you get knocked down and stand back up again. When the world says no, resilience says watch me. When failure strikes, resilience says that was a lesson, not the end. When exhaustion grips your soul, resilience says I will rest when I am finished, not when I am tired. The heroes of history, Lincoln, Ford, Disney, Jobs, were not superhuman. They were resilient. They absorbed blows that would have crushed ordinary men, and they turned those blows into fuel. That is your calling. To become resilient, disciplined, clear, unstoppable. To embody the truth, you become what you refuse to quit. There is a power greater than discipline, greater than persistence, greater than all strategies, tactics, or plans. That power is belief, because no matter how skilled you are, no matter how intelligent, no matter how hard you work, if deep down you do not believe you can achieve, you have already surrendered. The battle is lost before it begins. Every empire, every fortune, every masterpiece first lived in the realm of belief before it could exist in the realm of sight. The Wright brothers believed man could fly, while the world laughed. Edison believed he could trap light, while others called him mad. Oprah Winfrey believed she could create influence from nothing, while the world only saw her poverty. Belief is the seed. Persistence is the water. Discipline is the sunlight. And in time, the harvest becomes inevitable. Napoleon Hill wrote that faith is the eternal elixir that gives life, power, and action to the impulse of thought. Without faith, desire fades. Without faith, persistence crumbles. Without faith, the dream dies in its infancy. So ask yourself, what do you truly believe? Do you believe success is possible for you or only for others? Do you believe wealth is a matter of birthright or the result of relentless pursuit? Do you believe your vision is achievable, or do you secretly doubt, waiting for permission to go all in? Your beliefs are the architects of your reality. What you hold as true, whether consciously or unconsciously, shapes your actions, your persistence, your destiny. That if you believe you are destined to struggle, your mind will find ways to sabotage your progress. If you believe opportunities are scarce, you will walk past abundance without recognizing it. If you believe you are unworthy, every success will slip through your hands as you unconsciously reject it. But if you believe wealth flows toward you, you will see doors others call walls. If you believe persistence always wins, you will rise from every defeat stronger. If you believe you are destined for greatness, your every action will be charged with the energy of certainty. Belief is magnetic. What you hold in your mind with conviction is drawn to you in reality. This is not magic, it is law. Because when you believe, your actions align. When you believe, your energy shifts. When you believe, your persistence is fueled by certainty instead of doubt. Bro, understand this. The richest soil in the world is not in gold mines, not in oil fields. It is in cemeteries. Because there lie the dreams that were never believed in strongly enough. There lie the visions that people abandoned because their faith was too weak to carry them through resistance. Do not let your dream be buried alive. Feed it with belief. Speak life into it daily. Guard it from the poison of doubters, from the cynicism of the average, from the sarcasm of the fearful. Your dream is fragile in its infancy. Protect it until it grows strong enough to withstand the storm. And the way you strengthen belief is through visualization. Visualization is not daydreaming. It is rehearsal. It is construction. It is the act of building in the unseen so it may exist in the seen. Hill called it autosuggestion, the daily practice of feeding your subconscious mind with the images, words, and emotions of the life you are creating. Because your subconscious does not know the difference between imagination and reality. What you feed it consistently becomes your programming, and your programming directs your behavior. Picture the wealth you desire, not once, but daily. Picture the life, the freedom, the mastery, the impact. Speak it, write it, see it until it feels undeniable. This is how belief is forged, not in vague hope, but in vivid repetition. Athletes visualize victory before the game. Performers visualize mastery before the stage. Leaders visualize triumph before the battle. And you must do the same. Do not wait for results to believe. Believe until results arrive. This is how you bend reality. This is how the invisible becomes visible. This is how the impossible becomes inevitable. But belief alone is not enough. It must be backed by action. Action is the proof of belief. A man who says he believes but does not act is lying to himself. A woman who speaks of faith but sits in fear does not yet understand the law. The bridge between your mind and your destiny is built by daily action. Small steps compound. Repeated efforts multiply. The world shifts not in one dramatic leap, but in countless consistent movements that add up to transformation. Ford did not build his automobile empire overnight. He built it factory by factory, assembly line by assembly line, improvement by improvement. Edison did not invent the light bulb in one stroke. He failed, studied, adjusted, and tried again, thousands of times. Each action, though small, was a brick. And persistence laid those bricks until the fortress of their dreams stood unshakable. This is the formula. Belief gives you the seed. Visualization plants it deep. Persistence waters it. Discipline shines on it. Action makes it grow. And in time, harvest. But never forget, bro, the harvest only belongs to the one who refuses to quit. Because storms will come. Droughts will come. Seasons of doubt will come. But the one who believes, who persists, who acts daily, who visualizes the end as if it were already done, he cannot be stopped. You become what you refuse to quit. Gratitude, bro, is the hidden fuel of persistence. Because without it, your journey becomes bitterness. Without it, every setback feels like punishment. But with it, every step becomes progress. Every trial becomes a gift. Every challenge becomes training for greatness. Understand this. Gratitude is not weakness, is not soft. Gratitude is strength. Gratitude is the warrior's vision, the ability to look at the battlefield of life and say, every blow that strikes me is building me. Every obstacle in my path is shaping me. Every delay is preparing me for something greater. Napoleon Hill reminded us that every adversity carries with it the seed of equal or greater benefit. But only those who remain grateful can see it. The ungrateful see only loss, only pain, only delay. The grateful see lessons, hidden advantages, opportunities disguised as hardship. Look at Lincoln, defeated, bankrupt, grieving, mocked. Yet gratitude allowed him to see purpose in the pain, meaning in the loss, preparation in the suffering. That gratitude transformed him into a leader capable of carrying the weight of a divided nation. Look at Disney, fired, bankrupt, rejected. Yet gratitude for his imagination kept him alive. Gratitude for failure sharpened his vision. Gratitude turned his setbacks into stories that would later inspire generations. And look at yourself. Every moment that tested you, every hardship that broke you, every betrayal, every closed door, none of it was wasted. It was all preparation. And gratitude unlocks that truth, but gratitude alone is not enough. You must be adaptable. The rigid tree snaps in the storm. The flexible reed bends and survives. In the same way, success does not belong to the stubborn who refuse to change, but to the persistent who adapt without losing their vision. The market changes. Technology shifts. Cultures evolve. Opportunities move. The principles of success never change, but the methods must adapt. Those who cling blindly to old ways are buried with them. Those who adapt, who stay flexible, who learn and evolve, continue to rise no matter how the world transforms. Think of IBM, once dominant, then humbled, then reborn through adaptation. Think of Apple, nearly bankrupt, only to reinvent itself through innovation and vision. Think of every leader who has stood the test of decades. They did not remain the same. They grew. They adapted. They evolved. Bro, you must hold two things at once: unshakable persistence toward your vision and complete flexibility in your methods. The vision is carved in stone, but the path is drawn in sand. If one road closes, you build another. If one door shuts, you find a window. If one plan fails, you create a better one. This is the power of adaptability. It is persistence wearing the armor of intelligence, and yet there is one more power greater than adaptability. That power is resilience in the face of adversity, because make no mistake, adversity will come. It will come not once, but many times. It will come in forms you never expect. It will come disguised as betrayal, disguised as rejection, disguised as failure. And it will whisper to you, quit. This is too much. This is where the story ends. But bro, the story never ends in adversity, it begins. Adversity is not your enemy. Adversity is the training ground of destiny. Adversity is the fire that tempers steel. Adversity is the storm that forces you to grow roots deep enough to withstand anything. The biographies of greatness are not written in the ink of comfort. They are carved in the fire of adversity. Lincoln without adversity is not Lincoln. Edison without adversity is not Edison. Mandela without adversity is not Mandela. You without adversity would never become who you are destined to be. So do not curse adversity. Thank it. Do not run from it. Embrace it. Do not see it as the wall. It is the doorway. And the moment you stop fearing adversity, you will realize it was never there to destroy you. It was there to prepare you. Gratitude for your past. Adaptability for your present. Resilience for your future. Together, they make you untouchable. And when you carry these powers with persistence, discipline, clarity, faith, and vision, nothing can stop you. Not the economy, not your past, not your fears, not even time itself, because in the end, success does not belong to the smartest, the richest, the most connected. Success belongs to the one who refuses to quit. You become what you refuse to quit. And when you reach that mountaintop, when the world finally sees what you have built, when they whisper your name with respect and wonder, you will know the truth. The journey was never about what you achieve. It was about who you became.